What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan coming at you with a new video. Today's video, I want to go over rookies you should target after the first round. Now, it's easy to say that these first round targets are pretty self-explanatory of who you're going after. But let's say you don't have a first round. Let's say you took over a team. Let's say you traded your first round. Let's say you have multiple second, multiple third round picks in rookie drafts. I'll try to get this as close as I can just to kind of show you an example. But I also have it up on Fantasy Pros of kind of their ADP for it as well and kind of go off of that. So I'm just going to compare both and talk about the guys that I like. So the reason I did it on Sleeper is just kind of show how the drafts pretty much go. It's usually different. I mean, this is pretty close to what you're going to run into. And let's say you're picking 12th. What players do you want at 12 before, say, you might have no first round picks? You're not picking until, let's say, 2-6, 2-7, something like that. There's quite a bit of talent back here that is as promising as the first round. Obviously, Breece Hall, Walker, the two top running prospects. I'm not sold on them yet. I'm like, if I could trade out of 1-1 and 1-2, I will. There's a lot of receivers that I like in this draft, and there's a lot of back end running backs that I like a lot more than these guys. Obviously, Drake London, Trey Burks, to me, are two of the guys that you want to get in that first round. Olave is another one, but let's say we don't have that. So right now, Damien Pierce falls to me. Damien Pierce, young guy in Houston. They have Marlon Mack, they have Burkhead, but for the future, Damien Pierce is, as long as they don't go and get a top running back in the offseason or draft another running back, Damien Pierce lines up to be a really good opportunist in the future. So let's say we take him. And now we're going to have other guys fall off, and I'm going to tell you which guys you should probably target in those spots as well. Now, there's almost everybody that I like in the second round is gone. It's me again. I don't know if I could pause it. I can. Okay. So, Isaiah Spiller, another guy. And click on it. More than likely going to be the RB2 in the Chargers offense, 20 years old. Austin Eckler has been pretty healthy. And seeing his career, it's been pretty healthy throughout his career. Missed 6 games in 2020, 2 games in 2018. But other than that, he's been pretty healthy, which is why he's a great fantasy option. But let's say if he does get hurt. Right now, Joshua Kelly is RB2. But you can look on his opportunities, and they're not that good. 3.19 in 111 attempts in 2020, 3.09 last year. So not as efficient running the ball. So Isaiah Spiller has a lot of opportunity to move up. He's a guy that usually falls in the second round. The only time he doesn't is if someone gets him out of the first, but usually he falls to the second. Alger, and I hope I'm saying this right, another player that's growing on me to someone to target. If he falls to you in the second round, that's good. That's what you want. That's kind of where you want to go. The reason why, Cordell Patterson, I mean, you could see a lot of people talking, but might be wide receiver. They might still use him as the same role they used him as last year as well. But 31 years old, getting up there in age, what he did last season, you could see, for one, the opportunities. He's never had this much opportunities before. He's either had 42 as his highest rushing attempts, or 64, and then 42. But receptions were there. Like, the targets receptions, kind of similar to a few other seasons, but he's getting up there in age. And then you go that they just signed Damien Williams. Now, or not signed, Sorry. Damian Williams is there, also 30. Didn't make the best opportunity from the Bears either. 4.1 yards per carry. Like, he's done decent in his yards per carry, 4.1, 4.49, 5.12 in his last 3 seasons he's played. Pretty good for getting the receptions. But yet again, for the future, age, youth, Alger's there. As you can see, Sleeper doesn't have it. Allison is there in Atlanta as well, but Alger is the guy that you're probably want to go after. And if he falls to you, if Spiller's gone, if Pierce is gone, he's the next guy up for me. As far as running backs, he's the second to last running back that I really want to invest something in. Ingram was there for me, but once they signed their Williams, as Darrell Williams to the Cardinals, Benjamin looked like someone to get in redrafts, stuff like that. Dynasty for depth, but now that James Conner, Darrell Williams, is there, Ingram's value to me just plummets. There's too many people there. He doesn't look too promising. They have Conner. He falls. So Alger's probably the second to last running back that I go after. Now let's go to wide receivers. Out of the first round, like I said, a lot of promising talent. The second, Pierce is probably the guy that I go to that early. Going to the Colts, and the reason why is you could see the Colts receiver core. Paris Campbell, there is no one talented or trustworthy there in Indianapolis. He has a great opportunity to come in and be the number 2 receiver. Michael Pittman is the only for sure wide receiver there that we know has talent, that we know can produce. Everyone else is a toss-up. Like Paris Campbell, a few seasons ago when he was a rookie, seemed like an opportunist, seemed like somebody that could probably have a good opportunity in Indy, and just never, they have not used him. Maybe this is the season they do, but as of right now, he hasn't showed anything, so Pierce seems very promising. In the second round to get somebody that could be the number 2 receiver in an offense with Matt Ryan throwing the ball to him, it seems very good to me. I know they're a run team first. I get that, but still, that's a lot of opportunities gone, and a lot of opportunities for someone to take. He could definitely be the guy. A lot of people like Bell. I'm not too high on Bell either. He is 21, so you get the age there. But you have Donovan Peoples-Jones. You have Amari Cooper as the 1 and 2. I do like Anthony Schwartz a lot, so it's hard for me to say that opportunity is not there. But David Bell does have a good opportunity to get some targets with Jakeem Grant, Anthony Schwartz being 2 guys that are speedsters. And it's going to be different of someone like a David Bell. So we'll see how they use David Bell. As of right now, I'm not too high on him, but I do like him for future opportunities after this season. So let's go to wide receiver number 2 that I like that falls. And he should definitely be someone that you go after. If you're not sure, I'll go after him over Robinson. I'll go after him over Mechie. I do like Mechie a lot. It's just, as of right now, with that team, if he doesn't have a good rookie year, his value falls quite a bit. And it's not just because him personally, it's him being on a Houston team. He could have a really good year and that changes. But I'd rather take Jalen Tolbert, 23. I'd rather take him over some of these other guys. And the reason why is you lose Amari Cooper. Big target guy. Big amount of target volume that is there for the taking. Now, obviously, CeeDee Lamb is a wide receiver 1. Michael Gallup is the wide receiver 2 when he plays. But the thing that you want to see about Michael Gallup, he did miss 7 games last season, I believe, 7, 8. But he's been pretty healthy. We don't know. This is the last kind of big news about him. News will come during OTAs, all the off-season workouts, preseason. We'll find out more information. But as of right now, it doesn't sound like he's going to be fully healthy for the beginning of the season, and they might rush him back. But Jalen Tolbert has a lot of potential for opportunities. Now you go, oh, they got James Washington. If you can remember, James Washington in Pittsburgh was terrible. He could not catch at all. Like, he had no hands. And if you're worried about James Washington catching, like, it's not there. He has not proven in his career. And yet again, people change. I get that. But as of right now in his career, he has not showed that he is a good pass catcher. Jalen Tolbert, if he comes in and starts catching, like, you gotta realize when you look at Dak, you look at the attempts he's had, he's somehow threw 596 times in his last 2 full seasons. He's thrown 30-plus touchdowns. There's a lot of opportunity. So when losing somebody like Amari Cooper, who's getting a lot of those targets, they have to go to other people. Obviously, Dalton Schultz is still there. He's still going to get his targets. He got 104 last season, so it's not like he's going to go from 104 to 160. You see CeeDee Lamb last season, 120. Yes, he's probably going to get more than 120 targets, and I don't blame you. But Michael Gallup being hurt, still got 62. There's a lot of opportunity for Tolbert to get those targets, and that's why, to me, he's one of my more favored back-end drafts. You probably get him in the second round and late. If you're lucky to get him in the third round, I'd take him in the third round. The other guy that I mean, Justin Ross is there. I do like Justin Ross a lot. If he falls to you and you don't have a lot of other people to really go after, he's definitely somebody that I like. Kyron Williams, if you're playing off of Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson to get hurt again, sure, that's a great opportunity. He did look good in college. It's a good opportunity. He's not one of those guys that I go, man, he might have a good opportunity to play and get some playing time this year and go up in value. That's really what you want out of some of these guys, is go up in value. Possibly trade for somebody that you want in next year's draft that you like even more, or just trade for, older talent. So the last guy I'm going to talk about, obviously we have Thornton from New England, very speedster. We have the quarterbacks Malik Willis, Riddler, guys that could do you good. But I'm going to talk about guys that probably aren't getting looked at that much, overlooked, and fall to you past the first round. A guy I do like, and yes, take him in the fourth round if he falls to you in the fourth round. Snoop Connor. Now, the only reason I like Snoop Connor is he's a goal line running back. From everything I've read and saw, he's a goal line running back. He's the guy that if you're within the 10, you're going to put him in and he's just going to run. He's almost like a James Robinson. I think a little less explosive than James Robinson is. I mean, James Robinson just runs through people, and that's kind of what Snoop Connor does as well. And the thing that you look at when I look at Snoop Connor is can he play this season? Now, obviously, he's running back 3, so it doesn't look like he's going to be a guy, if everyone's healthy, is playing. Like, I fully expect the Jaguars to use their first-round pick, ETN, and their undrafted running back. That situation is amazing to me. And they're going to pass more. They went and signed Christian Kirk. They got Zay Jones. They got a couple receivers, so throwing the ball is a little better for that team. But the thing that you have to realize about the Jacksonville running backs is both of them are coming off of a huge surgery. So James Robinson, Achilles, ETN, foot. I mean, ETN did not play his rookie season. James Robinson was banged up and then got hurt week 16 against the Jets and was done. Now, they expect James Robinson to be back at the season, but if he's not, let's just say James Robinson is out the first 3 weeks of the season, you have ETN and then you have Snoop Connor. ETN is a very explosive receiving back, but Snoop Connor is that guy that you want to punch the ball in. So if Snoop Connor somehow gets 3 touchdowns in, let's say, the first 4 weeks of the season, and it's just from running it in on the goal line, like, I'm fine with that. That gets him value. That's what I want with a 4th round pick in a rookie draft. That's a guy that I want. That's a guy that in Dynasty drafts, if you're putting rookies in there and he's all the way in the back of the draft and he's falling to you, like, you might not even draft him. He might go undrafted. I doubt he does. But if you're in the 24th round of that draft and Snoop Connor's there, he's definitely somebody that you could take a risk on. Like, you don't expect a lot to come out of that. You expect the same thing that you expect out of the wide receiver 3s, 4s, 5s that you draft, out of the running back 3s that you also draft. He's a guy 22 years old. Like, he's not 23, 24, he's 22. A fair age. I know some of the running backs, 20 and 21. I get that. But he has opportunity with 2 running backs that had season-ending injuries. James Robinson would have got hurt in the beginning of the season like ETN. They both would have been out the entire season and then some. So Snoop Connor, he falls late in drafts, is definitely somebody else that I'm looking at. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you want to look at it as well, I like Fantasy Pros is just there just to see. I just use Sleeper. But you can see according to Fantasy Pros where these guys fall. Isaiah Spiller, running back 4. Pierce, running back 6. Alger, running back 8. And then we go all the way down, find Snoop Connor, running back 19. This is according to them. For wide receivers, Pierce, wide receiver 11. Tolbert, wide receiver 14. Ross, 18. So it's really up to you guys who you take. I'm just throwing out my 2 cents of guys that I like, guys that I'm targeting in rookie drafts and Dynasty startup drafts, guys that I really want to get to that I don't have to spend a whole lot of value on, that I don't have to spend a top 10 draft pick on, and I can get some more established talent. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. I will see you in the next one.